Welcome back, everyone, to... Damn, this is too loud for my thing, but it's too low for your thing. There we are. Welcome back, everyone, to Hearts of Iron for Mod Spotlight. This time it's the new version of the End of a New Beginning mod. More commonly referred to as the Victoria 2 or the Victoria 3 mod. I don't understand why, but sure, that's how some people call this mod. I don't think I agree, but whatever. Whatever. It's yeah, it's obviously supposed to, you know, take HOI4, make it go longer. that's essentially what the whole idea is. And to rework a whole bunch of systems to supposedly make that work. Now, are they doing that? I ask myself rhetorically as the game takes forever to load. It depends. It's like a massive mod that's supposed to run from 1857 all the way to 2050, as it says so helpfully in this title screen. Now, do I think it will ever get there? No, but whatever. So here's a little, like, nice little, I suppose, introduction kind of thing. We don't particularly care. I loaded in as pressure because that's, like, what everyone does, apparently, with this mod. Because it's like, oh, look, it's about this time period. Better do it about, better do Prussia or something. I just, wait. I just love how East Berlin is its own state. Yeah, I suppose that's like they're preparing for the Cold War or whatever. I don't know. Yeah, there's the in-game wiki over here. You can pause and read if you want. There's a colonial system, of course. There's a stability system, which doesn't do all that much. There's this thing, but it's not, you know, written. And there's the military high command system, which is like actually quite cool. But we're gonna take a look at those things later. So last time we saw this mod, it was still in the very, very early development stages, and it's still in the very, very early development stages, but it's a bit more fleshed out right about now. So what is it? Of course, you start off in 1857. You know, if you know what's going on in 1857, it's about that time when countries that were generally in this area were starting to consolidate and industrialize. And it's almost the time when those people who didn't like the black people rose up in the United States. So that's kind of the interesting stuff that you have to look forward to in the sort of early to mid game. Now the mod is supposed to run only up to like 1870s with like actual unique content for the countries, with like events and stuff. But you know, you can, I guess, make it run farther or something. The way it works is much like the Cold War mod. You have a focus tree, and then when something happens, you load a new focus tree so that, you know, you don't have like a massive like 700 focus monstrosity to work through. And this way it is a little bit more sort of it is a little bit more nimble, I suppose. Oh, okay, I'm like, you're wrong. And something that's kind of cool is that a lot of their focuses now are sort of integrated with decisions. Where the hell is it? I think I need to... fucking hell. I hate how sometimes you just have to run the game. Some of it is integrated to decisions and other systems that are around. So that's quite cute, not gonna lie. And for example, if you have different political paths, you can use that to load different focus trees. You know, you've seen it with the Cold War mod. If you elect a different person, you have a different focus tree and all that. And there's also a lot of new political mechanics to go along with it now. Are you sure? Unlocks decision. It's not unlocking the decision. Anyway, despite the mod not working correctly, it's quite cool. Sometimes it works from what I've seen, so I don't know why it's not working right now, probably because I used the cheat. Because I didn't want to wait 30 seconds. So anyway, they also have the intelligence agency stuff, of course. I wish it would let me see GitHub version. Yes, I know. Oh, actually, they haven't like completed the thing yet, but it's there. They have a ton of decisions, of course. You can apparently convert to Catholicism. You can secularize. That's because they have added a whole lot of sort of social and political flags down here that, you know, some of them were in it already, such as the state of the country stuff with, like, you know, you're a Victorian era country or a machine era country or something like that. Or you're in the information age. It's kind of like a civilization kind of thing. You have, you know, your little industrialization progress, your army progress, and you also have religions. Now, last time you were able to actually switch religions from this tab, which was kind of dumb because, you know, you could obviously like convert fucking, I don't know, Russia to Buddhism or some other insane stuff. But now you cannot do that anymore. You do it for decisions. It's quite cute. And the idea of like converting to Catholicism at some countries is kind of interesting. I wonder if you can like, I don't know, take, let's just take like a random country like Japan or something. Oh, come on. Don't be like this. What do you mean? Fuck you. Mod, please work. Or I suppose Hearts of Iron 4, please work. Why is this TSH? Also, why is the music not working? Come on. It's gonna take forever. Yeah, so they have added a whole lot of social stuff, which is obviously supposed to simulate how, like, you know, over a time frame of 100, no, more like, well, they intend to make it go 200 years, but like, you know, understandably like 100 years from 1850 to 1950, because come on, they're never going to get to 200. You have things like social development that are much more important than you know, the modernization of the Shogunate, than just like, you know, what scant things exist in Hearts of Iron 4 to represent that development. No, apparently you cannot convert Japan to Catholicism or anything like that, which is pretty fucking sad. But yeah, like a ton of countries have their own little systems. I wonder if Mr. China has anything unique. Have like their own little systems that they can explore through fucking decisions and that kind of stuff. And that's, you know, in addition to the focus trees, you can see that there's like a little factory thing. That's the industrialization progress. Like some countries need to sort of industrialize through their focus tree, or at least get the industrialization meter to be, you know, to be high enough. And through that, you become an industrializing nation, which is, I believe, the gateway to doing this. Fortify Guangzhou. That seems like a pretty good idea in the Second Opium War. Advance to the Victorian era. No, China has nothing unique about it. That's big sad. Anyway, so that's essentially this, but it was already in there, right? You cannot convert to Buddhism. No, unfortunate. You also have, obviously, government politics, which was already in there. You have cultural policies, which was already in there. This is just like the fucking Victoria to... Oh, come on. What the hell? I want to do this. Oh, Jesus Christ. Yeah, why is Ed Miliband here? What the fuck? What's going on? Yeah, I installed a classical music mod for this because I thought it oddly fitting, and I I hope there's some good pieces in here. I've never listened to it. So I suppose this is 2 mod spotlights in one. Anyway, although this one is... There's a mod spotlight and a mod loudspeaker, which is the music mod. Haha, I made the funny joke. Anyway, me being dumb aside... So this is kind of like the Victoria 2 reforms, you know, you have your state religion, like, you know, you're more, it's like, it's a middle ground between the Victoria 2, like, party policies, you know, moralism, secularism, all that kind of stuff, pro-military, anti-military, and the reforms because of all the trade unions, you know, freedom of assembly, fucking rule Britannia. Jurisdiction, judiciary, yes, I words, education, yeah, all this stuff. You've seen this before, you know, they just add everything, and they all have different, you know, they all have different effects. Naval infrastructure. This law can be reformed in our parliament. Yeah, that's something that we're about to get into. We probably shouldn't do that with the Qing, although... Does the Qing even have a parliament? No, we have no unique mechanics. And we just have entirely reactionary. Lovely. Why can we not vote for reforms? Man, Rule Britannia is quite cool. Yeah, apparently you cannot vote as the Qing or whatever. Ah, shit. I hate these menus. They're really cool. Don't get me wrong. Actually, let's tag to a smaller country, please. Which smaller country would have? Oh, Belgium, probably. Or maybe the Netherlands, right? Maybe the Netherlands. Oh, the Netherlands isn't so small in this time period. I'm dumb. See, I'm thinking that, like, tagging to smaller countries is going to make it tag faster, but it's... That train of thought might be wrong. See, you're already seeing the main problem of this. It's too big. There are too many calculations. I am running this on an SSD and a relatively good processor. It's like, you know, it's way too slow. Just way too slow. What ideology? You're anti-revolutionarian. Lovely. I want to see. Please. Fuck me, man. I just want to click. Okay, there we go. Oh, you have no unique government mechanic. Anyway, you can, like, again, you can go into this tab, which is internal politics. You have a parliament, which is, you know, representing all the different parties that are involved. Here we have conservatives and liberals. And you can call an election, a snap election, to redistribute the seats of the parliament. And you can reform the country through essentially votes on... Yes, on the different, again, social policies that we saw earlier. So, like, over here, if you want to change, like, I don't know, your demographic policies, your discriminatory laws on non-people, which are foreigners, you know, you can vote for it. If I want full equality, the Universal Equality Act of 1857, I can go like, this is urgent vote immediately, let's vote in a month, let's just go, you know, demonstrative purposes. For demonstrative purposes, let's see what's going on. Now, we are conservatives, right? Yay, 103, nay, 153. I'm not entirely sure how the votes are calculated, but essentially, what I think happens is that if you're pushing for a vote, members of your party are gonna be more inclined to vote for it. But parties have, like, natural inclinations, like, obviously, you know, like giving you know, trade unions the right to exist is not something that conservatives are too fond of. You know, censoring the press, liberals don't like that, or something like that. You know, that's what it's supposed to. Oh, we have a police force. Apparently, there's. Interesting. So that's basically that. It's a cool system. I'm not sure exactly how well it works in practice because, you know, haven't gotten to really play around with it too much, but lack of industrialization. But I suppose it exists. And there's another little tab here, which is the military high command, which is quite cool, actually. Because essentially, instead of just having like army advisors, you have a minister of war. I'm gonna do a bunch of fake like Victorian accents or something, so don't worry about that. It would be cool, honestly, if like your bonuses that you got from a person were changed by the position that you put them in. So like, for example, I don't know, Chief of the Army Genius, or sorry, Attacking Genius is maybe less effective if he's the Minister of War or whatever. Because, I don't know, Genius works best with smaller unit groups. I don't know. I don't fucking know. I'm just throwing out ideas. Anyway, I don't think enemy air support is that important in 1857. I'm sorry. So yeah, you could like put them, you know, in different spots. And, you know, what's really, really, really amazing. Ooh, yes, active positions. Activate a position in your military high command to receive the effects of the advisor's trait. Oh my god, that's so cool. That's actually fucking amazing. Although I don't see... Oh no, there's my command power. That is just absolutely top-notch stuff. And what's even cooler is that depending on a bunch of factors like events, like what kind of country you are, you can have these ministers and thus the organization, the army, the air force, or the navy get power. And if they get over like 80% power, they can like do a coup and create a military junta and dynamically change your politics that way, which is super cool, not gonna lie. Despite my cynicism about this whole thing, it's ultra cool. Another thing that's ultra cool is the tech tree. It's legitimately quite well made. I love the rifles, and the graphics themselves are nice. I love the cavalry. To research camels, your country must have at least one core state in either the Middle East or Africa. Really now? We have a core state in the Middle East or Africa. Oh. The Dutch Gold Coast. Detrimental colonial impact. Really now? Ashanti diplomacy. Yeah, that's another cool thing about this mod. Like, there's also a lot of buildings and a lot of resources that maybe we're gonna get to in a little. Okay, let's actually just get to it right now. It's dumb because there's like, okay, so in HOI4 normally, how it works is that you have strategic resources or trade goods. In this case, trade goods are just strategic resources, which are raw materials. HOI4 holds a pretty strict, like, except for, well, see, like, not even rubber. See, like, rubber, it's got this, like, tire shape to help represent what it builds. But rubber, as it's represented in normal HOI4, is just like, the rubber, like, sap that's extracted from trees, or whatever, however the fuck rubber works. which is then refined into, you know, industrial rubber, blah, blah, blah. It's complex stuff. I don't fucking know. Aluminium and, you know, all the other metals as well. See, like steel, I suppose. But like steel, you can even like understand, like, yes, you have like iron and you smelt it into steel. But that's still like, you know, you're digging iron from the ground, and it's not like you can make iron, you know, you can make steel from shit that's not iron. Well, unless you like scrap metal, but you know, that's also understandable. Here you have strategic resources that are essentially, you know, either raw materials or shit that you make from only one raw material. So, you know, oil, aluminium, rubber, tungsten, steel, chromium, coal, which, by the way, should be in normal Hearts of Iron 4, but, you know, that's cute. Wood, I guess, is fine, you know, like, but then it's like, okay, fabric. Okay, yes. How do I make fabric? Do I just, like, dig it up from the ground or whatever? No, you take the wool from the sheep, and then you put it, you know, you spin it into a, you know, sheet of fabric. And it's like, but that's a finished product. So, do I have like a wool resource? No, I just have like a fabric factory, sorry, a textile mill. It consumes 4 cotton. Where the fuck is cotton? Oh wait, I need to scroll. It's confusing as fuck, okay? See, it's like, in normal Victoria or whatever, resources are complex, but you know, you get it. In this, it's just like, oh, confusing as fuck. So you have like primary resources, you have refined goods, you even have capital goods, which are essentially like goods that are used to make other goods. So like machine parts, plastics. I don't know, like, it's just very, very complex. And it's even like portable power source. It's like, okay. Yeah, it's just, I don't know. I don't think Hearts of Iron 4 is the best game to like really represent this kind of stuff. And this is kind of hypocritical of me because in the Cold War Iron Current mod, they do have something of the sort, but a lot less complex than this. And I praised that, so I suppose you could say that I'm like a hypocrite or whatever, but I don't fucking know. I don't fucking know. I like really don't know. So anyways, despite all this stuff, yeah, it's quite cool, but like, you know, yeah. I don't particularly like it. And that's an irrational opinion, and I'm proud that I have irrational opinions. What's legitimately quite cool is how they structured focus trees. Like, obviously they haven't had the, you know, time or energy or development, you know, development man hours to like, you know, focus tree up everything, which is understandable. There's like shitload of countries. So, like, you know, some countries just can't have focus trees. So what do we do? Well, we have generic focus trees, obviously. You know, the most boring one, funnily enough, is the European one. Or the European country one, which is this one. If you go to, like, cool places in the world, like the Middle East, where you can, you know, chop off people's heads... actually, this is European, which is kind of dumb, not gonna lie. Or Africa, you see that they have a different generic focus tree. This is, keep in mind, still a generic focus tree, but it's a regional-based one, which is based... Haha, I made the big joke. So, you know, you can have either like African-style government or something. Or a Western-style government. You can have constitution or something. Yeah, and you can go from tribe to colony. Unlocks the colonial focus tree. Amazing. and changes the national focus tree to industrializing Africa. Holy fucking shit, dude. How good is this system? Or how, like, you know, good in theory. I haven't gotten to play around with it, but, like, how good of an idea is this? Like, I can't make a, you know, I can't make a specific focus tree for this, but, like, if I just have a generic focus tree, even if it's, like, a regional one, I can't have it for, you know, the entire length of the game because it's not gonna hold up. So I just, like, have it switch and load into different focus trees depending on the paths I do, and it's like, what the fuck? That's so, like, you know, that's so good. It's just fucking good. Let's try to see what happens if I just, like, finish everything with the cheats. Let's experiment. Science, you know? No. Enforce borders. Enforce border laws. Did I actually switch my border laws? I wonder. Interesting. Yeah, this is a really, really, really cool thing. Is a colonial company partner. Oh, you gotta be fucking kidding me. You have, like, that's no big issue. Oh my god. Look at this shit. An industrial nation. This path will lead towards inspiring a non-colonial industrialization of Africa. Like, is this just, like, literally the best thing I've ever seen? Well, it would be if it wasn't for the fact that, again, we get back to the big problemo of this mod. Running through that entire focus tree, you know, without it something breaking, but, like, you know, that's a secondary thing. Available tribal warriors 4,000. Lamau. What the fuck? Regional development project, cotton farm. Oh, here the decisions work, but not in fucking Prussia. Amazing. Oh wow, colonial park. Oh my god. Yeah, this is pretty cute. Yes, okay, so getting back to the point, to go through that entire focus tree normally would have taken a few, you know, a few years to say the least. Let's try to actually even count that. Oh wait, that's the Sokoto. Yeah, see, like, there's a Sokoto, or, you know, Muslim African focus tree changes to jihadist caliphate. I think I'm gonna tear up and cry. Jihadist caliphate. That's the best thing I've ever seen. I'm gonna cry. Anyway, maybe Ashanti has... No, he's only got our way and not theirs. Huh, apparently Dahomey... Oh, wow. Yeah, apparently these countries have a more varied focus tree than I expected. This is so... Oh, there we go. We have the African realm focus tree again. But wait, this is also... What the fuck? Okay, this is actually quite hilarious. Anyway, going through these, like, focus trees is gonna take a while, you know. You can see, like, apparently these are 150 days, which is, like, ridiculous. Here there's a few that are 100 days, 150 days, 750 days, which is, I'll say, first and foremost, this is realistic, because it's like you cannot build a factory from, you know, with no capital and, like, no expertise in 70 days or 35 days. I get it. It's realistic. But let's, you know, run the game. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 seconds for a day. 1, 2, 3, 4. So, one day runs in 4 seconds on an SSD. So if one day takes about 4 seconds to run, a month takes 40 to 120 seconds, so 2 minutes. A month takes 2 minutes to run. That means that a year takes 12 minutes. That means that 5 years take about an hour. But, you know, shit's gonna happen in the meantime. You're gonna pause, you're gonna read events, you're gonna, you know, go piss or something. So, you know, in an hour of gameplay, you can probably get for a couple of years, maybe 3 years at most. That's if the game speed holds up. That's if your computer is good, like mine, at doing this kind of stuff. There's a lot of ifs in the way. So, like, I don't want to play for, like, 30 hours to play 20 years, you know? Or, I don't know, maybe some people would want to do that, but, like, I'm not sure I would. I might try, but I'm not sure I would like it. That's the big problem of the mod. It's got a lot of cool shit in it. That's the problem. There's a lot of cool shit. In there, the cool shit is the least important factor compared to the a lot. And the a lot makes your PC not like what's going on. Now, the more the game progresses, the more a lot of these tags are going to be eaten by, you know, either Europeans expanding or, you know, the Taiping Rebellion unfortunately losing, or, you know, that kind of stuff. So that's understandable. Or, like, even, like, the stupid colonial, you know, charters and the colonial companies uniting into dominions and then into countries, you know, all the Native Americans being eaten by the US. But, like, you know, other reasons for the game to slow down are gonna happen, like people building bigger armies, bigger industries, you know, all that kind of stuff. So I'm not sure how the game speed, you know, is gonna look a little bit down the line, but yeah. There's you know, there's a lot of ifs and buts with the performance of this mod, and what I've seen so far, which again isn't too much, but it's a fair amount, is not really, you know, is not really, whatchamacallit, promising. And, yeah, that's like mostly about it for End of a New Beginning. At least right now. It's got a lot of cool shit, and, it doesn't run. Now, if they make HOI4 run faster, End of a New Beginning is going to be really cool. But right now, I don't know. It really just depends on the tolerance that you have for slow gameplay. Anyway, another cute little thing that they added is like culture, and that's another thing that I'm really not sure about, because it's like, I get it, like, if you're gonna be increasing the time period like this, you would want something to represent like what the culture of the states, you know, of the territories is looking like, because otherwise it would be incredibly bland. And, you know, the religion as well. Jews. Love it. But at the same time, I'm not sure how heavy this is gonna be for the game, but it's probably pretty heavy, you know? Like, pops in Vic 2 are like the entire reason why the game slows down. Well, along with the market, but that's another problem that thankfully is not in here. They don't seem to have added the market, although there is a population and economy thing. So I wonder if they're trying to load even more mechanics into this, and they're gonna add like a resource market. How the fuck are they gonna make this work and run? I have no idea. Yes, so getting back to it, it's probably, like, if it changes very rapidly, it's probably not a big issue, but, you know, And obviously, like, this thing is gonna suck up a shitload of development. Like, a lot of fucking development. Like, for example, if we go to, like, Russia, there's no culture here. If we go to China, there's no culture here. If we go to Korea, there's no culture. If we go to Japan, I mean, of course, it's Japan. Of course, there's no culture. To go to go to America, I suppose there's no culture here either. And well, that's probably true as well. But you know, Brazil would like some culture. I'm pretty sure Brazil has culture. Pretty sure Morocco has culture. You know, I saw the pictures of like the you know, the little cute buildings that they have down here in Casablanca once. So that looks like culture. Algiers, you know, they went around like murdering people. That piracy is culture. Yeah, like down here in Italy, there is culture, of course, but like it's obviously less like autistically measured than in the Austro-Hungarian Empire. So like this is something that they had the idea for the Austro-Hungarian Empire, I suppose. And then they just went like, okay, we can't have the Austro-Hungarian empires without like 17 different national and religious groups all trying to murder each other all the time, right? Which is true. You can't have the Austro-Hungarian Empire without 17 guerrillian religious and national and, you know, cultural groups trying to murder each other literally all the time. But then they went, let's also transplant the same system to everywhere else where, you know, obviously maybe they're not going to be, the developers of these regions are not going to be quite as autistic. I love the 2.8% Piedmontese and Ile-de-France, by the way, and the 2% Ashkenazi Jews. I wonder if they went through, like, census data for Paris or something. Although I sincerely doubt that there's any census data for, like, you know, Ukraine of this time period. Yeah, I don't know. Regardless of all these things, it's cool. I'll give it that. And I hope it doesn't actually make the game lag more. And there's also the religion, obviously. I'm not sure if you can, like, actually... I wonder if, becoming... See, like, here he's a fundamentalism. Yes! You can spread the glory of the message of Muhammad that comes directly from, you know, the one God, Allah, through your fundamentalism. That's all I needed. I'm not sure if it works or not, because obviously there isn't the religion down here. It's not been implemented yet, but I'm not even sure if they're going to be able to make it work, but... You know, all that I need in my life is some jihad to spread, you know, the true religion. Yeah, so I don't think there's really anything else to talk about. Am I getting something? Am I forgetting something? Big China, by the way. This gets taken by Russia later. Yeah, I don't think I'm really missing out on anything. Oh, and sometimes, like, some individual countries have a focus tree that has a big meme. Not Persia, unfortunately, but, like, for example, the Russian Empire can keep Alaska and, like, send migrants to Alaska and support Volga Germans. So that's a meme in and of itself. But there's, like, also some other big memes somewhere else. Like, Korea can just decide, like, hey, hey, China. Let's see if I can find it. Also, it can become Catholic, which is amazing. Where is it? Where's the foreign policy of Korea? There we go, the China relations. It's gonna be like, hey, China. Chonghua Restoration War, you know, gain annex war go against the great empire of the Qing. So that's quite nice. But normally, like, the focus trees are relatively mild, and I suppose they're quite informative on some of the things that were going on around this time, like, you know, all the different railways, the sea cables, which is a really, really fascinating subject. Did you know that, like, at some point in the Victorian era, some guy was like, let's just lay an undersea cable from, you know, the UK to the United States for a telegraph line. That's really, really cool. Yeah, there's like the whole cotton from India, you know, the resources of Britain. Although, to be fair, cotton from India was never really that important to Britain. Do you want to know where the British got their cotton? Actually, when the American Civil War happened, the British, like, textile industry almost exploded, because the British got cotton from here, and they also got cotton, funnily enough, from China. There's like a region in China where you can grow cotton, which is like essentially this belt, like this kind of thing. And when the Taiping Rebellion was going on, at the same time as the American Civil War, that almost exploded the British textile industry. So, you know, that's quite cool. Don't you love the, you know, free flow of goods and trade? Yeah, you have, like, you know, your coal mines or whatever, but there's no, like, you know, like, you get it. There's no, like, the huge memes, right? That people are getting used to when it comes to focus tree development, which is, you know, the Obscene Publications Act. Amazing. I mean, I suppose the meme over here is like Victorian English. The Molestation of Workmen Act, the Offences Against the Person Act. Yeah, the Adulteration of Food and Drinks Act. Yes, I do love Victorian English quite a bit. But yeah, there's nothing really... Yeah, there we go. Reliance on American cotton. There's nothing really too majorly like, I made the big meme, which is something that's a lot of people are going to be, you know, quite disappointed with. So yeah, that's about it for End of a New Beginning. I don't feel like, why can't we build 25 land fortifications? Oh my god. Amazing. So anyways, that's about it. I really don't feel like trying to find anything else to talk about. So yeah, I want to thank you all for watching. Hope you've enjoyed. As always, the links will be in the description. And I'll see you soon.